To safeguard her child, the parents confined her in a tiny apparatus, no larger than 10 square meters. Even while providing her with necessities, they kept their distance to avoid any interaction. The child suffered from an affliction that made her dependent on air from the evolution chamber. Convinced she'd reside in this capsule forever, suddenly, the chamber activated without warning. Horrifyingly, a stream of yellow gas poured onto the streets visible through the window. Emanating from the city's sewers, it knocked down anyone who breathed it in. Her father, caught on the streets, was shocked, but before he could react, a massive gush of air surged toward him. In an instant, chaos ensued on the street. He dashed home, quickly pulling his spouse from the window. The next moment, the toxic fumes clouded the view, penetrating the house. Luckily, their daughter was safeguarded by the purification chamber. Switching it to energy-conserving mode, they swiftly left for the upper levels as gas ascended. The couple reached the attic, where a friendly elderly duo resided, who welcomed them. The mother contacted her daughter via radio, relieved at her safety. From the balcony, they gazed upon the ghastly sight below. Lost for words, the father climbed to the roof and saw the city enveloped in a noxious haze, resembling a beautiful yet deadly landscape. With the poison causing power failures citywide, the girl's safety in the chamber was at risk due to limited backup battery life. Bracing himself, the father planned to venture down to replace the battery. In the hallway, he cautiously agitated a strand of the invisible, odorless, yet lethal gas. Swapping the battery required a tedious trek, impossible to endure without breathing. Recalling an elderly neighbor with an oxygen tank, the man chose to risk descending via the drain pipe. Holding his breath, he reached the elder's floor, broke in through the window, only to discover his neighbor motionless on the floor. Finding his neighbor motionless and breathless, the man had no time for grief. Desperation mounted as the usual location of the uncle's oxygen tank proved empty. Frantically scouring the place with a flashlight, his search for the tank continued.